All right, what is up, Michigan football fans? Hey, I'm dressed like I went golfing because I went golfing. In fact, I am thrilled right now because for the first time in our married lives, I went golfing with my wife. It was so much fun. Do you golf with your wives? That's a question for you. All right, if you do, just be patient, have fun, enjoy it. All right, you guys can. It's an activity you can do together for the rest of your life. My hope and prayer is that she keeps golfing. But Michigan football has a freshman. They have got a freshman right now that has some serious upside that made a splash play in very few opportunities. All right, for the Michigan Wolverines, he made an absolute splash play out of it. So I'm going to explain it to you, and I want you to guess who it is. All right, I want you to guess who it is. If I told you he's from 20 minutes down the road, Belleville, right? Who would you be thinking? If I told you that he was an elite prospect, that he was a top 2 or 3 prospect in the state of Michigan, if I told you he was at least a 4-star, almost a 5-star, who would you be thinking of? All of you would be thinking of Bryce Underwood. Nobody is thinking about his teammate and best friend, Elijah Dotson. How many of you actually knew that this dude was on Michigan's roster? All right, how many of you would know about that? All right, here's what happened. Though Bryce Underwood was the name garnering the headlines, the Wolverines managed to cure one of his best friends, defensive back Elijah Dotson, who had been previously committed to Pitt. Now, rivalry runs deep on that. When I hear he was committed to Pitt, one of the first things I think of is former Michigan State defensive coordinator Pat Narduzzi is the head coach at Pitt. And anyways, I don't want to say a ton of things, but man, that must have hurt him quite a bit. But let's look at this dude's recruiting rankings. When you go to MGO blog, what you see is that across the board, he is a very solid 4-star prospect. He is in the top 100 in many respects. He is always number 2 or number 3 in the state of Michigan, and depending on if they call him a safety or corner, but he is a 4.48, 4.4, 4.32, and a 4.1. With the totals here, you're looking at the MGO would give him a 4.36, number 179 overall of 186. All right, number 14 safety. So when we look at a guy like this, we look at a guy that absolutely has talent. But here's the things that you don't know about him. And before I get into that, why am I talking about him? Right? He got a pick. He got a pick in the game against Central Michigan. Key interception early in the second half. So he got in early in the second half before they just threw in all the backups. And this is a guy who came in as a safety, and there was talk like, is he going to be a big corner? What does it look like? He's 6'2", about 180 pounds. Can he play cornerback? What does that look like? He has elite track speed. Where is he going to play? So immediately they switch him to corner as a freshman, and by the 3rd game of the year, he's getting playing time at outside corner? Are you kidding me? Right? Jaden Sanders, we know about, right? He started the entire game. We have other freshman corners that are getting even more hype, right? One of them got number 2. All right, Earls. But Dotson is the one who got in the game before Shamari Earls. Dotson is the one that got an interception. Jaden Sanders played fantastic, by the way. I thought in relief of Zeke Berry. I thought on 2 accounts, being thrown into the fire in Norman, Oklahoma. I thought he did well there. All right, Shamari Earls hasn't gotten in the game yet, but I thought Jaden Sanders did well in both, but he's not my guy that I'm focusing on. All right, I do have some more injury stuff for us as well as we get into it. But this is a dude, when you go a little further into the numbers, he is a 4-time AAU Junior Olympian in track and 3-time All-State hurdler. All right, I've seen numbers anywhere from 13.89 personal best in the 110-meter hurdles to 14.47. He ran a 39.05 in the 300-meter hurdles. All right? The dude can flat out move. He can flat out move. There was even conversation about him playing wide receiver. In his junior season, he had 66 tackles, he had 3 picks, he had 11 pass breakups. He also caught 43 balls for 1,653 all-purpose yards and 18 touchdowns. Don't tell me this dude doesn't have skill. Like, don't tell me this guy isn't an elite athlete. He's got ball skills, and so often that's what cornerbacks are missing. They're missing the ability to catch the ball. So, yes, it is awesome. Excited to see it. And we'll kind of go from there. I also do want to mention, and I don't know if I'll do another video on this or not, but quarterback Bryce Underwood earned his first Big Ten award following, it said massive game. That's a very clear hype. Like, click on me. All right. No, that is not a massive game. All right. He had a massive game, but the game against Central wasn't massive. But he is the Big Ten Freshman of the Week following his game against Central Michigan. All right. Not bad. Again, he threw for 235 yards. He got a touchdown. He got a pick. He had 114 yards on 9 carries. Wow. 2 more scores. So 3 scores, well over 300 yards, about 350 total yards, 349, if I can do math correctly. I think that's worth mentioning. All right, now I just want to go through the injuries. All right, real quick, I might do another video on one of these two just to give you a little bit more. All right, we open Big Ten play on Saturday. We've got no Sharon Moore. This is the last game of his suspension. All right, so Biff Poggi, all right, was the original, or it was the guy that was talking. He said offensive lineman Giel Hadi, who suffered a lower body injury against Oklahoma, is not expected to play against Nebraska. So, Afodi, you're up. All right, you're up. He said he will return in a couple weeks. So, it's not awful, but it's not bad. It's probably a high ankle sprain, something like that. All right, what about Brady Norton, our other guard, who suffered a lower body injury? Again, that was during practice. He was out against CMU. He said he could potentially play this week. He said, we think there's a real good chance Brady will be back. That will be determined later this week based on how his body responds, how he responds in practice. So, Guarnara, you're up. All right, this internal offensive line. And be careful, because if they continue to play well, if they put up a good game against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the black shirts, and Norton and El Hadi still aren't healthy, and they just keep playing well, there's a real world where they start actually taking this over, at least one of them. Rod Moore, we were told he was going to play last week against CMU. This is interesting. He dressed, which is good. But Biff said Rod is progressing well, could have played this past week, but I really think you'll see Rod this week at Nebraska. That's interesting to me. Like, why did they not play him then against Central Michigan? Why not give him a little bit of a warm-up? Why not let him get his feet wet? I mean, he hasn't played football in a year and a half. It would have been really nice. Other things, TJ Guy, not hurt. They just didn't play him, which is really, really, really interesting. And with this, I want to know more. I know, like, Marshall, I believe, got hurt in the game, defensive end. So I'd love to know what's going on there. But just wanted to give you some good news with a freshman. And there's some really good recruiting news that's coming down the pipe as well that I'll probably do another video on as well. News, and more news. Game day 5 days away. Can't wait to see what we do against Nebraska. If we get a W in Nebraska, you can know this team is probably for real. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.